The assembly will please come to order. The chief clerk will call the roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson, Assemblywoman Backus, Assemblywoman Vilbrandt-Axelrod, Assemblywoman Brown-May, Assemblyman Carter, Assemblywoman Cohen, Assemblywoman Considine, Assemblyman DeLong, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblyman De Silva, Assemblywoman Duran, Assemblywoman Gallant, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, Assemblywoman Gorlow, Assemblyman Gray, Assemblyman Gurr, Assemblyman Hafen, Assemblywoman Hanson, Assemblywoman Hardy, Assemblyman Hibbets, Assemblywoman Howdigi, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblyman Koenig, Assemblywoman LaRue Hatch, Assemblywoman Marzola, Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, Assemblyman C.H. Miller, Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Mosca, Assemblywoman Newby, Assemblyman Wynn, Assemblyman O'Neill, Assemblyman Ornt-Licker, Assemblywoman Peters, Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong, Assemblywoman Taylor, Assemblywoman Thomas, Assemblywoman Torres, Assemblyman Watts, Assemblyman Urick, Speaker Yeager.
Here. Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the record reflect all members are present.
The record shall so reflect there are 42 present. There is a quorum. The assembly will please rise for the prayer by Elder Jean Rupert McNichol, Washoe Tribe, Carson City.
Let me see if I can get up. After I sit down for a while, it takes me a while to get back in the groove.
So that's on whenever you're ready.
Welcome to Washishu country. I have this prayer for you. Great Spirit, I pray for your blessing today. We are gathered to do great things for our people. I have to put my glasses on. Doing great things for our people. Their work is immense, but we need your inspiration and stamina to get it done. I pray for a blessing. Our world is in great turmoil, and we need your help. Please bless us with courage, strength, and protection. Mother Earth deplores the destruction that is going on. Great Spirit, I thank you for giving me the power to bless everyone. Blessing to all. Can you hold this for me? Blessings to all. And God bless America. Thank you.
So the members will please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we are going to go a little bit out of order today and begin with Order of Business 15, remarks from the floor to recognize Tribes Day. So I will start first with Assemblywoman Backus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We'll start with the land acknowledgement. Because we live, play, and work on the ancestral homelands of the Numa, Nu'a, Nuwu, and Washoe, who have lived in the Great Basin since time began, we hold the deepest respect and gratitude to our four major indigenous groups: the Northern Paiute, the Shoshone, the Southern Paiute, and the Washoe. Not just the original caretakers of the land we now call Nevada, for their enduring stewardship and protection of our shared lands and waterways. Today, the Assembly reaffirms its commitment to improve the quality of life for our 28 tribal nations, bands, colonies, and the 62,000 plus urban Indians who chose to make Nevada their current home. Today, we celebrate Nevada Tribes Legislative Day in our great state in recognition of the contributions American Indians have made to the prosperity and culture diversity of Nevada and the United States. I have a proclamation that I will give over to the Indian Commission, because this year we celebrate 10 years since the enactment of NRS 236.038, which established Nevada Tribes Legislative Day. Today, over 150 Native Americans, youth, elders, elected officials, educators, organizers, and community members have traveled to our state capital to celebrate the rich, vibrant culture, history, and current lifestyles of the original caretakers of this land, which we now call Nevada. Make no mistake, our tribal citizens are engaged. As one tribal chair frequently says, what is good for Nevada is good for Indian country. Today's event has brought 12 of the highest elected officials, as well as the Shopai tribe of Duck Valley's entire tribal council, to the state legislature. We are joined by over 50 Native American students, fifth graders through college aged, to witness firsthand how the state legislature works and how critical civic engagement is for all Nevadans. If I could have our guests stand to be recognized, that would be great, so we can all share an appreciation of you being with us today.
Assemblyman Watts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It is our honor to be celebrating Tribes Day. We welcome all of the guests joining us here today. I'd like to share just a couple of facts and thank again the Indian Commission for helping prepare Nevada Tribal Nations facts, of which all members have a copy of on their desk. There are 42 facts, one for every member of this body. I'll just share briefly a couple of facts about tribal history. Nevada is home to 5 indigenous groups: the Washoe, Northern Paiute, Southern Paiute, Western Shoshone, and the Mojave. Within these groups, there are 28 federally recognized and sovereign tribal governments. The U.S. Constitution recognizes Indian tribes as distinct governments, and they have, with few exceptions, the same powers as federal and state governments to regulate their internal affairs. And the Nevada Indian Commission was created by statute in 1965 to improve the quality of life for the state's 28 tribal nations, bands, and colonies, along with the 62,000 plus urban Indians who make Nevada their home. With the utmost respect for their inherent sovereignty and their government-to-government status, the Nevada Indian Commission serves as a conduit between tribal governments and the governor's office and the state.
Assemblywoman Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to highlight a couple of some impressive achievements that the American Indians have accomplished in economic development. In 2017, the Mawapa Band of Paiutes, working with First Solar, constructed the first utility-scale solar project on tribal lands and has been a model for similar environmental and economic tribal projects. The Mawapa Band of Paiutes has several successful business enterprises, including the Mawapa Travel Plaza, a restaurant, and a large event space, the Southern Paiute Memorial Veterans Park. And then in September of 2020, the Lovelock Paiute tribe worked with the Nevada Governor's Office of Science, Innovation, and Technology to bring fiber optics to the colony's administrative building. This project expanded the broadband network to create a tribal library, expand the community computer center, and enhance the diabetes center, and also created infrastructure for a robust telehealth system.
Assemblywoman Gorlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have the honor to talk briefly about civic engagement. The most basic principle for Native American communities is its sovereignty. Defined as a supreme power for which all political powers are derived, Indigenous people interpret sovereignty as an inherent right which cannot be given or taken away by another group. It ensures self-government, cultural preservation, and the people's control of their future. Thank you.
Assemblywoman Hardy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have the privilege to share some facts regarding education in our Nevada tribal nations. In Nevada, there are 2 Bureau of Indian Education schools which are operated by tribal nations: the Pyramid Lake Junior Senior High in Nixon, and Duckwater Shoshone Elementary in Duckwater. This November 4th, Duckwater will celebrate its school's 50th anniversary. In 2021, the Nevada State Legislature enacted Assembly Bill 262, which grants a waiver of the base registration fees, laboratory fees, and all other mandatory fees associated with enrollment for an eligible Native American student who are members of federally recognized Indian tribes, all or part of which is located within the boundaries of Nevada. During the first year of implementation, 140 students had $457,449 in fees waived, and 24 additional students qualified for the waiver but had fees paid by federal education benefits.
Assemblywoman LaRue Hatch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my absolute honor today to share some facts about geography. Geography is about the human relationship with the earth, the ways that we shape the earth and the ways that the earth shapes us, which I think is very critical to acknowledge today. And so my fact is about Northern Paiute bands and their names. And many of their names come from the food that they eat, which I think shows that relationship with the earth. And so I would like to share some of those names. We have the Kuptakutta, who are the ground squirrel eaters. We know them as the Lovelock Paiute tribe today. We have the Quiwi Dakota, who are the Quiwi fish eaters. That is in Pyramid Lake specifically. That is the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe. And we have the Agai Dakota, which are the trout eaters. And we know them as the Walker River Paiute tribe today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We will go to order business 2, reading and approval of the journal.
Carson City, Monday, February 13, 2023.
Assemblywoman Howdegi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that further reading of the journal be dispensed with and the Speaker and Chief Clerk be authorized to make the necessary corrections and additions.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll go to order business 6, communications.
February 7, 2023, Majority Leader Nicole J. Canizaro, Speaker Steve Yeager, Nevada Legislature, Legislative Building, Capitol Complex, 401 South Carson Street, Carson City, Nevada, 89701-4747, restate of the Judiciary Address 2023 Legislative Session. Dear Majority Leader Canizaro and Speaker Yeager, pursuant to past protocol, I would like to request permission as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Nevada in 2023 to address a joint session of the legislature on the state of the judiciary on March 14, 2023 at 5 p.m. Thereafter, the Supreme Court will be hosting a reception for legislators in the rotunda at 6 p.m. Your joint consideration of this matter is greatly appreciated. Respectfully, Lydia S. Stiglich, Chief Justice.
Order of Business 7, messages from the Senate.
Senate Chamber, Carson City, February 13, 2023. To the Honorable the Assembly, I have the honor to inform the Honorable Body that the Senate on this day passed Senate Bill 32. Annette Biamonte for Sherry Rodriguez, Assistant Secretary of the Senate.
Order of Business 8, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Notice of exemption, February 14, 2023. The Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the exemption of Assembly Bill number 16. And the Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the eligibility for exemption of Assembly Bills numbers 28, 45, 51, 84, 93, 112, 113, and 134. Sarah Kaufman, Fiscal Analysis Division.
Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the persons as set forth on the Nevada Legislature's press accreditation list of February 14th, 2023 be accepted as credited press representatives, that they be assigned space at the press table in the Assembly chamber, and that they be allowed the use of appropriate broadcasting facilities, and the list be included in the day's journal.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll go next to Order of Business 9, introduction, first reading, and reference of bills.
Assembly Bill 158, introduced by Assemblyman O'Neill et al. An act relating to emergency medical services, ratifying the recognition of emergency medical services personnel licensure interstate compact and providing other measures appropriately thereto.
Assemblywoman Marzola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 158 be referred to your Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 159, introduced by Assemblyman O'Neill et al. An act relating to offenders, adding certain offenses relating to cruelty to animals to the list of offenses for which credits earned by offenders may not be deducted from the minimum term or the minimum aggregate term imposed by a sentence, adding certain offenses relating to cruelty to animals to the list of offenses for which a court may not defer judgment, revising the maximum period for which a court may set or extend probation or suspension of a sentence for certain offenses, adding certain offenses relating to cruelty to animals to the list of offenses a person must not be convicted of to be eligible for a petition for early discharge, and providing other measures properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 159 be referred to your Committee on Judiciary.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 160, introduced by Assemblyman C.H. Miller et al. An act relating to criminal records, providing for the automatic sealing of criminal records relating to certain convictions of a person and certain charges against a person, revising provisions relating to a petition to seal criminal records relating to certain charges brought against a person, and providing other measures properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 160 be moved to your Committee on Judiciary.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 161, introduced by Assemblyman C.H. Miller. An act relating to driver's licenses, requiring under certain circumstances that the Department of Motor Vehicles place a designation on a driver's license for certain persons with autism, and providing other measures properly in there too.
Assemblyman Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 161 be referred to your Committee on Growth and Infrastructure.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 162, introduced by Assemblyman Gorlow et al. An act relating to pesticides, requiring the Director of the State Department of Agriculture to classify neonicotinoid pesticides as restricted use pesticides, prohibiting the use of neonicotinoid pesticides on state lands, establishing certain exemptions for neonicotinoid pesticides to certain fees relating to restricted use pesticides, providing penalty, and providing other measures properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 162 be moved to your Committee on Natural Resources.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 163, introduced by Assemblyman Gonzalez, Sedal, Senator Spearman et al. An act relating to employment, providing for hours of leave under certain circumstances if an employee is a victim of an act which constitutes sexual assault, prohibiting the administrator of the Employment Security Division of the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation from denying certain persons unemployment benefits under certain circumstances, requiring employers to provide reasonable accommodations under certain circumstances, prohibiting an employer from taking certain actions against an employee, and providing other measures properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Marzola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 163 be referred to your Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 164, introduced by Assemblyman Yeager, an act relating to outdoor recreation, requiring the Division of Outdoor Recreation in the State Department of Conservation and Natural Resources to establish an outdoor education advisory working group during the 2023-2024 interim to study approaches to incorporate outdoor recreation into the curriculum of the public education system in the state, prescribing the membership and duties of the Outdoor Education Advisory Working Group, and providing other measures properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Bilbray Axelrod.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 164 be referred to your most excellent Committee on Education.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 165, introduced by Assemblywoman Howdigi, an act relating to workers' compensation, revising provisions governing the payment in a lump sum for certain claimants with a permanent partial disability, and providing other measures properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Marzola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 165 be referred to your Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 166, introduced by Assemblywomen Thomas and Gorlow, an act making an appropriation to the nonprofit organization Foster Kinship for its programs dedicated to kinship care, and providing other measures properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 166 be referred to your Committee on Ways and Means.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 167, introduced by Assemblywoman Thomas, an act relating to persons with dementia, requiring the Aging and Disability Services Division of the Department of Health and Human Services to establish and administer a dementia care specialist program, setting forth certain requirements for the program, making an appropriation, and providing other measures properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 167 be referred to your Committee on Health and Human Services.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 168, introduced by Assemblywomen Thomas and Gorlow, an act relating to maternal health, revising the duties of the Maternal Mortality Review Committee in the Department of Health and Human Services, and providing other measures properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 168 be referred to your Committee on Health and Human Services.
Without objection, so referred.
Senate Bill 32, introduced by the Committee on Commerce and Labor, an act relating to Private Investigators Licensing Board exempting persons engaged exclusively in transporting persons between certain states for the purposes of a temporary transfer of custody pursuant to the Agreement of Detainers or Extradition pursuant to the Uniform Criminal Extradition Act from licensure and regulation by the Board, and providing other measures properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Marzola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Senate Bill 32 be referred to your Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Without objection, so referred. I believe that takes us back to Order of Business 15, remarks from the floor. We'll go to Assemblywoman Bilbray Axelrod.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is February 14th, and we often, as we're here, think about our loved ones on this day. I actually thought it was kind of interesting because when you look up St. Valentine, the saint of romance, you find out that he was actually a Roman priest who performed secret marriages. I hope that they were all over the age of 18. But for me, Valentine's means so much more. 16 years ago, I became a mom on Valentine's Day to my little Molly, who, as you know, has the biggest heart in the whole wide world. So it is with this, I'd like to say happy birthday to my daughter, who I've never been away from on this day. You make me so proud every day, every single day. So happy birthday, Molly. If you guys would wish her a happy birthday by clapping, that'd be great. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Molly. Assemblyman Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce a guest today and a very good friend of mine, Trip Tobin, who's joining us for the day. And any of you guys want to talk to him going out? He loves to talk politics.
Do we have any other order of business 15? Assemblywoman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to introduce my guest today, who many people, especially in Southern Nevada, but actually all of Nevada know, Tammy Tiger, who is a commissioner to the Advisory Board of the Nevada Indian Commission. And it's a pleasure to have her here today. She is a friend, she is a constituent, she is a strong leader, she is, a tribal citizen living in our Summerlin area, and I'm just so pleased to have her here, and thank you for your leadership.
Any other order of business 15? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to Assemblywoman Howdigy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Some announcements for the floor. We have today Nevada Tribes Day at the Legislature. There are activities in room 3100 and displays at the front foyer. Tomorrow is Nevada Agriculture Education Day, and there is a breakfast and meet and greet with the Nevada Agricultural Education in room 3100 from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and then from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. students will be available to answer questions. Tomorrow we also have the Nevada Credit Union League Day at the Assembly from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and a reception at the Great Basin Brewing Company from 5 to 7. On Thursday we have the McDonald Carano Government Affairs and Advocacy Group inviting you to a legislative reception at Great Basin Brewing Company from 5 to 7 p.m. And seeing no further business, Mr. Speaker, I move that the Assembly stand adjourned until Wednesday, February 15th at the hour of 11:30 a.m.
Assemblywoman Howdigy has moved that the Assembly stand adjourned until Wednesday, February 15th, 2023 at the hour of 11:30 a.m. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.